Live here from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. If you're listening from anywhere across the world, we'd like to say thank you for staying tuned in to this magazine program station. Today on the program, I am not alone as usual. I told you the number will increase a little bit today. I have Barrister Idris in the house. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Peter.
Harry Spice joins us again. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Peter.
And the lady in the house as usual, Olive, is in the building.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Today, we'll be looking at the issue of forced deportation of Nigerians from Cameroon and the issues arising from that. Let's take in an effort to stem the spread of Boko Haram, according to a report released by the Human Rights Watch. The deportations defy the United Nations Refugee Agency's plea not to return anyone to the northeast Nigeria until the security and human rights situation has improved considerably and leaves deportees facing spiraling violence, displacement, and destitution. Cameroonian soldiers are also accused to have returned assaulted and sexually exploited Nigerian asylum seekers in remote border areas and also denied them access to the United Nations Refugee Agency. The Cameroonian military's torture and abuse of Nigerian refugees and asylum seekers seeks to be driven by an arbitrary decision to punish them for Boko Haram attacks in Cameroon and to discourage Nigerians from seeking asylum, according to Gary Simpson, the Associate Refugee Director of Human Rights Watch. In late June and July 2017, Human Rights Watch said it interviewed 61 asylum seekers and refugees in Nigeria about the abuses they faced in Cameroon. They said soldiers had accused them of belonging to Boko Haram or of being Boko Haram wives while torturing or assaulting them and dozens of others on arrival during their stay in remote border areas and during mass deportations. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, said it has heard similar accounts from Nigerians living in Cameroon's border areas. Some said their children, weakened after living for months or years without adequate food and medical care in border areas, died during or just after the deportations, and others said children were separated from their parents. But the Cameroonian authorities came out yesterday to deny any forced return or abuse of Nigerian asylum seekers, though they have not replied to a Human Rights Watch request for a response to the report's findings. Barrister Idris, you thought as much, right?
Wow.
So that's the situation that we have currently, and that's one of the trending issues. How come this is happening in a world where Africa is seen as a point of interest and hopefully being the future of the world?
Well, Peter, it's sad. I want to look at it from two angles. First, we are human, and I think we need to be humane in our approach to life. We should be our brother's keeper, and I think it's important that we speak with one voice on issues like this. Having said that, every responsible government has basic responsibilities: duty to promote, duty to protect, and duty to fulfill. All of these are key elements under international obligations. The duty to promote: every government should promote human rights. Protect: every government should protect the right of its citizens and the right of everybody, whether within or outside its shores. And duty to fulfill: every government has the right to fulfill its obligation towards its people. Having said all of this, the Cameroonian government, they have an obligation to ensure that whoever is within their territory is protected under international law. And that is why they can be held accountable for any ill or anything that affects those Nigerians. And again, as Nigerians, our government need to wake up to its responsibilities of ensuring that Nigeria, wherever they are safe. The issue of evacuation, I think the federal government last week also made pronouncement that they will evacuate some Nigerians who are in this prone area where hurricane are taking place. You know, these are the things that a government should do. Where we have some Nigerians, like in Cameroon, there is need for us to do a lot. Again, it's not about just, it's sad because I'm really saddened with what is happening to Nigerians. Not because they are Nigerians. Anything that happened to any human being, we should be sad about it. And the Cameroonians should, learn to be our brothers' keepers. They should learn to, safeguard the lives of every person within their territory.
100,000 Nigerians. How on earth can all those people be classified as Boko Haram? Harry Spice.
Yes, Cameroon's relationship with Nigeria has been defined in hostile wavelength for a very long time. It didn't start today. Remember how our military, some of our soldiers were arrested and disarmed in Cameroon during the heat of Boko Haram. So I'm not surprised that this is coming from Cameroon. They've been like this with us for a very long time, and it's very sad that your neighbor, who is supposed to come to your aid in times of crisis, will rise up in mockery of your situation. This is a lesson to us as a country that if we don't take care of our situation, neighbors would never help us take care of it. When this issue of Boko Haram started like a joke. Today it has become a national embarrassment, to the extent that Cameroon will push about 100,000 people out back into war zone. Remember the doctrine of refoulement as given by UN, that if you are an asylum seeker, you are not supposed to go back to that prone area of crisis until it's certified by the government of that country or the UN before you can do that. Well, in this case, Cameroon literally bundled Nigerians into trucks, women and children, and sent them back to the trouble-prone zones of Northeast. Exposing them to more hazards, more abuses. Some were sexually abused and abandoned.
But isn't that something that even that we've seen accusations within the Nigerian military too?
In this context, we're talking about a neighborliness relationship. We'll handle our internal issues on a very good day. Today we're talking about international relationship. Nigeria has been a big brother to not just African countries.
No, because you said we should take care of our own first.
Yes.
So I'm saying, if we have pockets of such situations happening here, would it be surprising that Cameroon is repeating the same?
It is, humanity everywhere is humanity. When you have a fall of human feelings, these kind of things happen. You mustn't be a Cameroonian or a Nigerian to save humanity. We're talking of human lives here. People are in their need of attention, of help, and you are actually increasing their situation. It is actually very sickening and sad. It's not a commentary that should be taken lightly. The Nigerian government, even the ECOWAS community, I think they should rise up in condemnation of this very act. This perennial hostility by Cameroon cannot continue. If you remember, we have more Cameroonians in Nigeria, but we treat them equally. Nigeria sent soldiers to Liberia, to Sierra Leone, to end the wars in these countries. But here, it's not as if we're calling for their help. We're not calling for their help, for them to help us fight Boko Haram. We're saying help us with the asylum seekers, those who flee from Boko Haram attacks. accommodate them until life returns, normalcy returns to Nigeria. But here you're pushing them back. That to me, it's a sign of very wicked hostility shown by another man to another man.
Bakassi and Cameroon. We have seen Cameroon reappear again. I mean, even some few weeks back, there were accusations of maltreatment of Nigerians around the Bakassi area and all of that. These are issues that have continued to pop up with Cameroon. The United Nations has been behind.
Sorry, Peter. I think. Sorry, Peter. I think we need to, said something very important. We need to look back in history to understand what is playing out. One of our greatest problems, like I used to say, is we are a nation that doesn't have a sense of history, and it's very sad. During Shagari era, some Nigerian army were killed by Cameroonians, and it took the present president, that's Muhammadu Buhari, who was in charge of military zone around I think in Jos and Northeast and all of that. He took his effort to go into Cameroon, and the then president Hijo had to run down to Nigeria to request that we pipe down a little bit. This has been going on for a very long time, and I think our foreign policy, we need to redefine our foreign policies. One very important factor which is playing out is, if you don't take care of your own, but rest assured others will not take care of them for you. There's a parable that says, if you own a calabash and you kick it, somebody who doesn't own the calabash doesn't know the importance. If it's coming, will just smash it. That is what exactly is playing out. And I think we need to be very, very serious. Citizenship is key. And every person is important. Life is sacred, and we should hold that very, very sacred. And it's sad that we are playing kid gloves with issues surrounding our persons, when internationally, I can tell you, Americans, we go out on a war to free one American in another country. We've seen that happen. What happened during Uganda's President Idi Amin, that the Israeli who were held hostage, they had to use military to go, and that's the importance they place on human life, on their citizens. I think we need to redefine the importance of every one of us within this country and outside.
Let's take a look at the responsibility of the United Nations in this. We've seen their role largely play in the Bakassi issue, where Nigeria had to let go part of the territory to the Cameroonian government. Are we going to see the United Nations play a key role in this how do I classify it? A turnaround kind of situation where forced migration is being reversed. These guys have been forced by war and hunger, and they are now forced back into their country without any proper attempt at making a lasting solution visible. Olive. Let's hear from Olive, please.
I'll come again.
Are we seeing the United Nations play a key role in the current situation?
Or are we expecting them to play a key role? Because,
I don't know, but
obviously they've come out to say what Cameroon did is very wrong, because from what you even said, he said it defies the plea they already made that refugees should not be returned to restive areas until we are sure of the security situation there. Now they have said it. Taking action on that, I think Cameroon currently remains blacklisted. Cameroon remains blacklisted. But now where I am more concerned is the fact that these people flee the country as a result of security challenges. I'm very glad that I read that the governor of Borno State, Shetima, came out. He set up a committee or something to ensure that these people are resettled, and with, of course, security put in place to ensure that they at least they are well resettled in a place where their security is ensured. For me, I think I would want other state governors and, of course, the federal government to also toe the same path. Because the first thing to do is to ensure that, because they are own, we are here discussing Cameroon. I mean, they are not Cameroonians, they are Nigerians. So there is need for the Nigerian government to, step up action in ensuring that security is also restored, and normalcy is restored in every part of the Northeast, and of course that the security of the people there are well, to ensure the security of the people there as a whole. Now, on the issue of Cameroon, I think I will understand their fear. It has happened outside the country where you let in people and then you expose your country to some sort of risk. But where I have a problem is the lack of communication. I mean, you should communicate the country. Of course, if you feel this poses a threat to you, you communicate the country. We have your people here, make effort. And then I also read about a Human Rights Watch report too that said Nigeria, as of June, deployed about 6 trucks to forcefully repatriate these refugees. And I can't help but ask, why deploy trucks to bring them back if you have not made provision for their resettlement? So I think so far my concern is on their security. They are back to the country, they are Nigerians. The government should ensure that their security is of utmost priority.
Yes, just like Barrister Bauer said, we need to redefine our foreign policy. Nigeria should learn to adopt the reciprocal doctrine. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you. The era of playing the big brother role, it's over. A country that closes its door against you when you're in trouble, you should also do the same to that country. We can't continue to tolerate Cameroon's insensitivity to our plight. They've never been very cordial with us. Even in the field of play, you see how vicious they are when it comes to Jotmare game of football.
Are you not taking it to football?
No, I'm just I'm just telling you the mentality of an average Cameroonian. He sees Nigeria not as a friendly neighbor but as a rival, and it's a mentality that it's enshrined even in their own foreign policy. Anything Nigeria, it's never seen to be a welcoming one. This cannot continue. Nigeria should rise up, redefine its foreign policy, particularly with Cameroon. The Bakassi Peninsula that was ceded to Cameroon by The Hague, it's still a point in reference. The Bakassians, who are Nigerians by indigents, are still suffering persecution from Cameroonian citizens as well as soldiers. This cannot continue. We don't have to wait for UN to sanction. I call them a very helpless sanctions, because those sanctions are hardly enforced. Until as a country you take up your own sanctions.
So what do you suggest, that we take up our sanctions ourselves? And but we are bound by the treaty and agreements of the United Nations.
What is a law? What is a treaty to you when it doesn't favor you, when you undermine?
Shouldn't there be other ways and means of relating that?
The other ways, it's you redefining your foreign policy, just like I talked about the reciprocal doctrine. Do good to who does good to you.
You see, when we are talking about treaties, it's not a one-way traffic. We are talking about humans. The Cameroonians, are they not part of the United Nations? Are they not part? They are. What role are they playing to ensure the safety and security of these Nigerians?
What is the role of the ECOWAS in this?
It's just the same. Like all of these are treaties and declarations. They are soft laws, not hard laws that you can really say you want to hold anybody to account for. Executing some of these treaties or implementing them only go by way of international sanction by other countries and all of that. So they are soft laws, not hard laws, and there's little or much you can do to it. The only thing is that as a country, you owe your citizen that duty to protect them. And that is where I think we should wake up and do what is right to assisting all of these our brothers and sisters that are in Cameroon.
Now, 100,000, that's a lot of number. That's a high number. I mean, take a look at the situation where even us in Nigeria that are still safe are moving, you know, every day on the streets, going about our normal day activities. Things are hard for us. What happens to this number?
Peter, sometimes there was a time I was in Senegal, and somebody made a statement. He said, God forbid that there's civil war in Nigeria. If there's anything like war in Nigeria, the whole of West Africa will be subsumed. That is the population we have. If there's any problem in any part, the neighboring country will have a lot to curtail with, to contend with, and all of that. That is what is playing out in Cameroon. I think we shouldn't cry foul of what has happened between the Boko Haram not being taken serious and all of that. But I think we, like one of our programs here, we talked about radicalization and all of that. We need to do a lot. These are the impact, the effect of being radicalized, and that is what brought us to this situation. Now this has happened. How do we move forward? What are we supposed to do? What is the next step of action? These are my thoughts. These are the things I think we should be focusing on. One is, first and foremost, let's get the identity of all of this, because when you are seeking for asylum, you need to register all of this. If there are documentation by Cameroons and all of that, we as a government, we need to take hold of this, get our people, and then try to think of where are the best places for us to, resettle these persons before they now move to their various places. If where they are from, for instance, if you say they are from Bama or from Kunduga or from whichever part of Banki of Maiduguri or for Borno State, for instance, and you feel that those places are now well settled, no more harassment, no more strife around that area, then take these people back to their various communities and resettle them. So this is one way to go. But let's not start dealing with Cameroon any further. We should take the bull by the horn. These are Nigerians. Let us see how we can bring them back home and resettle them in their various communities.
Let's take a look at the Western world. In Germany, we've seen Angela Merkel manage the situation with the migration from Syria in the heat of the war. We have seen how properly they've tried to manage. That also almost cost her election win. We have seen a very massive support for the Syrians who had migrated from their country because of the war and hunger. Now, this is a country where we have had reports of biological weapons being used on individuals. Ordinarily, you would expect a country like Germany to say, we don't want this kind of people. Why is the African case always different and not managed properly? I saw on TV the apartment, I mean the makeshift apartments that were provided for these people, and it was amazing, a lot better than where some citizens in Nigeria live.
Peter, I think we are still going back and back forth. My opening remarks, I said, first and foremost, we are human. And for the fact we are human, we need to be humane. And that's what exactly happened in Germany. They look at the humane nature of, the suffering people have been facing in Syria and all of that. And they open their doors. And now absorb these persons, and they are treating them like human beings. And that is where we are missing it. I said it, we don't value lives in this part of the world, and it is sad.
And there were pockets of radicalism among those who were helped.
Yes, exactly.
But the government still did not ask them to leave.
They didn't ask them to leave, and I will tell you that the German government, they are putting some machineries in place, one, to monitor these persons, the whole lot of them, monitor them. Those they fear are radicalized, they have a process of, de-radicalizing them. Those who are into drug, they have a program set out to manage all of this. So they have trauma center, they have all kinds of centers that can deal with each and every case as they come. So what we need to do here is also to look at that picture. It's sad that Cameroon doesn't know what it means to have other people within your state. America is great, not because of the citizens, but because of the migrants who are in America, and that is where the German government, they are looking at now. Give it 10 years, you will see how powerful Germany will be as a country. No, they are powerful, but they will be one of the most powerful, if not surpassing China and USA. Just give 10 years. The import of all of these migrants and all of that will bring a new, system into that place that will make it a country that will be much more reckoned with in future.
Harry Spice, do we have a problem with African countries? Because, I recall the case in South Africa where Nigerians were the targets during, should I call this modern apartheid?
Yeah.
Because this one is beyond the one that used to exist. We have that. We've seen cases of Nigerians suffering in Liberia. We have seen cases, at least the Liberian government has built a good relationship with Nigeria. Then now we're seeing Cameroon.
The tragedy of the African continent is that we compete with ourselves not in healthy contest, but the very vicious one that undermines development, progress, and unity. We don't talk love. All we talk about is who it's bigger in terms of a vicious display of inhumanity to another human. During my fellowship recently in the U.S., I saw the hostility visited to Nigerians by other African countries, not even the Americans. There's this perception about Nigeria. When you see somebody from South Africa, he has this laid back towards Nigeria. It's not just a South African thing. It's almost all the African countries. And again, I try to study why this is happening. Then I discovered that we cause this ourselves. The portrayal of ourselves as very, the very negative things that we tend to write about ourselves on social media, what happens in our movies, it's a reflection of how we are treated outside or by other African countries. A Malian friend, while in the US, I had told me that she lost her fiance of almost 5 years because the mother would not allow her to marry in Nigeria, because the mother said they were fetish. What they see on African magic, there's this manifestation of fetish things, so she won't allow her daughter to marry in Nigeria. This is a general perception about Nigerians by other African countries, and it's also it translates to our political relationship with other people. Now, Cameroon, we have a history of brotherhood with Cameroon. We were once the northern Cameroon and Nigeria. We all share some political history. They should have taken us more like brothers than even neighbors. Like Chad, for instance, we've not had any incidents of Chad returning asylum seekers to Nigeria. That is good neighborliness. Nigeria, the same thing. So why is this particular or peculiar with Cameroon?
I was thinking that Cameroon should have sent back Nigerians who were caught wanting.
Exactly.
That would be a lot more.
Exactly.
Like a deport.
In fact, when any person is found wanting, you have your laws. They can use their law
according to your law.
Are Nigerians not being tried in Indonesia, being tried in Thailand, all of that? Did they repatriate them down to Nigeria for trials? No. You have your own laws. If you find any person wanted, that is why I said, first and foremost, let us look ourselves as human, not even Nigerians, because it wasn't my making that I'm born Nigeria, that I found myself here. God designed it that way. And somebody who is in Cameroon, it's not your making that you are a Cameroonian. God designed it that way. And I think we should look at it from this angle. Human first, then before you start talking about if you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, it wasn't your making. Your parents were Muslim or Christian, that is why you follow suit. When you are old enough and you decide to move, then that's your own choice. But I think what we should look at, our communication strategy should be much more focused internally. What am I saying? Harry made one very good point. In the US, there are killings in fact, it's like per second billing. Every 1 minute somebody is either being killed or raped, even in South Africa, but you will never see them speak about it on social media, or you not see them announcing it on their newspaper or television. And they know how to manage it internally. But here in this part of the world, whatever happens, even in somebody's bedroom, once somebody gets hold of it, he posts it on the social media. And I think we need to be careful about what we bring out,
what we give to the international community.
To the international community. That is one way for us to manage. We should learn to manage our own information internally before we start, talking about. He said something that is very important. While in the UK, the moment you say I'm a Nigerian, somebody will look at you twice, with maybe a suspicion of maybe being a fraudster or anything. But by the time they get close to you and you have a good relationship with them, they now see you. This is. In fact, while I was in school, we had this culture of having weekends, Nigerian weekend, in each of our flats. And the Chinese, the Indonesians, the Pakistanis who were in Essex now decide to have a cluster of their own, because they see us, we contribute money, maybe you go to London, you buy poundo or pandediam, the real one, you buy grinded beans, you come and make a akara. They see us eating local food. They decided to have that kind of culture. So what I'm saying is, all of us, we had Hausas, we had Igbos, Delta, Yorubas, and we're always doing that every week. It was a weekly carnival, and we're always looking forward to it. So all we need to do is let us internally, within Nigeria, let us redefine what we want to be, how we want to, relate with ourselves. If we don't do that, other people will see us as being a mess.
Yeah, it's a very good thing we are discussing this issue today. The problem of fear of foreigners has always been with Africans for a very long time. Even within us, we also fear other tribes and all that. You may recall that in 1983, Nigeria even deported about 1 million Ghanaians or thereabout. So I think the African Union really has a role to play in this to at least build the bridge of unity amongst African states. And we too, ourselves, in our various countries, I think there is also a need for us to build, encourage people to love themselves, at least as first Africans, Nigerians, before you talk of tribes and and other things, because you find out that there are times when there were reports of people being deported from one part of Nigeria to the other. I mean, this thing is with us, because the way we are condemning Cameroon, it's as if it's only in Cameroon that it has ever happened. I mean, it happens also within Nigeria. So I think there is really need for us to build that bridge of unity amongst us, not just in Nigeria, but now amongst other African countries. It's really, really important that we do that.
You may be right, even though I won't buy wholeheartedly to your submission that Nigerians deport other Nigerians. Maybe what happened?
Other Africans.
No,
other Nigerians.
Nigeria. There was an attempt for that to happen when some destitutes were exported from Lagos to to the east, and that was condemned. That was really condemned. And again, Nigeria never deported Ghanaians in the 80s, if I may say. I think we offered them respite, we offered them asylum when the economy was actually in a shambles. And when it picked up, Nigeria actually said, okay, I think you guys are okay now, you can go back. That is that is actually the principle of this neighborliness we're talking about. When you're in need, your doors are open. And Nigeria actually did that. We did that to Liberian during the Liberian
But we
war.
also had the Ghana must go phrase.
Guys, I'm wondering why he's saying that we asked them to go, that we did not deport them.
It wasn't an official coinage, trust her with making situation of every.
But there was a proclamation then that if they don't leave, that they should be arrested.
I may not be too conversant with that declaration, but what we're saying is Nigeria is one of the most friendly nations on earth. You can take that to anywhere. We're very open to strangers, to outsiders. outsiders. I think we welcome outsiders more than we do to ourselves. You know, Liberia, when they had their issue, they were all here. Chad, remember the Chad, the ones we call Buzu, were all here. And, you know, even the Nigerians, they were also here. We never one day turned them back. And again, you can't blame us. It's who God has made us to be. And that is why perhaps, whether with our pockets of, you know, leadership crisis, we're still favored by God. We have very little disasters. So the principle of, you know, good neighborliness is that you should be open to yourselves when you are in need. I still will continue to frown at what Cameroon is doing. You don't treat human beings this way. It wasn't their making that they sought asylum in your country. They were pushed by war. And what you know, now war is like a fire, it's coming, and you run out to get succor. Then you saw a lion again chasing you back. So these guys are actually found in between the devil and the red blue, the deep blue sea. So I don't want to call the Cameroon. I don't want to refer to them as the devil, but they shouldn't manifest words.
All right. So if you're just joining us, we've been looking at the issue of forced deportation of Nigerians from Cameroon and the issues arising from that. 100,000 Nigerians who have sought asylum in an effort to stem the spread of Boko Haram, according to a report released by the Human Rights Watch, have been asked to leave Cameroon. The deportations defy the United Nations Refugee Agency's plea not to return anyone to the northeast until the security and human rights situation has improved considerably. You can be a part of our discussion by calling us on the number 081 89 99 10 11. The number again is 081 89 99 10 11. Call us up and be part of the discussion. We'd love to hear your opinion on the program. X-Ray, and together we X-ray the topic of the day. On X-Ray, we take a look at trending and topical issues making the rounds across Nigeria and beyond. Hello. Good morning. Unfortunately, we lost our call. We'd like to plead with you to please, as much as possible, ensure that your phones, that your radio sets are put off completely before you call us up. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on X-Ray this morning.
This is Ibrahim calling from Jabi.
You're welcome to the program.
My suggestion is that those Cameroonians that they say Nigeria should get prepared and go back to their country. And the way we are looking is very, very, very big bad information. Because I believe that if we in Nigeria here we have peace successfully, they will not go to that place and say they will go and hide there. And the problem we have here in Nigeria, the problem is not yet solved. So if they should push those people out of their place and bring them to Nigeria now, how are we going to show for the security of those people? So the little suggestion I'm supposed to bring on this issue is that I don't know if this African country they can make this thing of a unique form that as far as you're an African country, you can go anywhere in Africa and stay there as your home. I don't think that that idea is bad. Okay. So we should know what to do and make this our African country to be one. Not by saying this one from here, this one from here, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a pagan. Let us see ourselves as a one as a one world. So I don't really, in fact, I'm short of words, Sharon.
Thank you so much. Don't be short of words, though. I have hope that things will get better for our fellow countrymen and women. And in fact, he's really promoting a one Nigeria system, and I think that's commendable. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Morning and welcome to X-Ray.
this is Emeka speaking, Alaba.
Go ahead, Emeka.
What I want to say is, on the issue of Cameroon deporting Nigerians, it's never their fault. So we will not put the blame on them. Because Nigeria is a place where fellow Nigerians are even posing a threat on, that is against fellow Nigerians. Here in this country, presently, there is this high tension that is all over the part of the country now between Nigerians and Nigerians. So, and presently it's not properly resolved. So, if we, the Nigerians, can do this to fellow Nigerians, how much more other countries? But what I want to say is this: if Nigerians will put aside ethnicity, religions, and treat everybody fairly as one, I think there will be no reason why other countries will be treating us this way.
All right.
So, in a nutshell, it is now left for us to sit back, ask ourselves questions. But God did not make a mistake for bringing people of different ethnic, religions, and this is coming to that to become one as Nigerians. It's never a mistake, it is for a purpose. So we Nigerians, especially the Nigerian government, should please sit back and keep aside, put aside every ethnicity so that there will be way forward in this country.
Thank you so much for calling us on X-Ray. I'm sure he's trying to talk about One Nigeria and the need to start the charity from home, as is usually said. Oga?
Hello, good morning.
You need to put off your radio set.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I think on this issue of Cameroon deporting Nigeria.
What is your name? Where are you calling from, first of all?
I'm calling from DAD.
And your name?
I'm Mohammed Abubakar by name.
Welcome, Mohammed.
Yes. It has to do with the bilateral relationship. The fact that today Nigeria were in calamity of Boko Haram and Cameroon feel that they can deport our people, then the Nigerian government should appeal to them. If they insist, fine, we accept and make provision of how we can accommodate our people. But I'm telling you, Cameroon will regret it. Nigeria being the giant of Africa, and over the years, we have been in assistance for them. So let the Nigerian government look into it critically. First, they can use diplomacy. But if they insist, we have no option. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution on X-Ray. Any reactions before we take further calls?
I think we are also speaking in line with even the callers. The humanity is at the forefront of our consideration. Humanity first before you talk about other constitutionality, other security concerns and co. If you can trade, Cameroon can do business with us economically. I see no reason why they can't help us when we are in need of their assistance. You don't use one hand to clap. You use two hands. God made us neighbors because we know that we can actually benefit from ourselves. So the emphasis is still that they should actually do exhibit this principle of good neighborliness.
Okay.
No one is immune from crisis or disaster. This is our own turn. You never can say whose turn it will be tomorrow.
All right. Hello. Hello. I picked this call. I can't hear the caller. You can call us up on 081-8999-1011. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to X-Ray on Human Rights Radio.
Thank you.
Please go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Joko calling all the way from Lokokoma.
Go ahead, please.
I just want to make a point, and it's actually this where everyone is entitled to his own opinion. I don't want to say I'm totally against the last speaker's opinion, because what Cameroonians are doing right now, they're just trying to protect their integrity and their sovereignty. It's their right to protect their because if you look at it very clearly, you know an average Nigerian is. Family directly of telling Nigerians that go home and let your leaders sit down and go settle the dispute, because they won't be able to tolerate all this kind of movement in and out of that place. Because first of all, each and every country is looking forward to make sure that their citizens is at in utmost security. And Cameroon for one, to some extent, that even though they are not that operated as Nigeria is, they strive as much as possible to make sure that citizens are in peace. And if Nigeria should pick up and copy such, making peace within them and making peace in Nigeria rather than seeing negotiating and Cameroon regret it. Cameroon will regret it. They are trying to make sure there is peace in their country. I think we should make sure there is peace in our country.
Hello. Unfortunately, we lost that call due to network problems, I guess. But I mean, okay, let's take this one. We still have time.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from. Let me just get off my radio.
You
Please, I want to contribute on what is going on now.
Have you put up the radio set?
Yes, I put up my radio set.
Okay, so tell us your name. We need to know your name.
I wanted to find out.
What is your name?
What's mine?
What is your name? You don't have a name?
Hello? My name is Miracle.
Miracle, go ahead. At least let me talk to you as a human being. Okay.
I said I want to ask, as great and mighty Nigeria is, even if Nigeria is having a little problem within themselves, what kind of effort to do? A small Cameroon, who do not even reach Nigeria in anything, has mind to import Nigerians. You are forgetting to me. You are forgetting that you can seek help from this country.
Miracle.
You don't know.
Miracle.
Hello?
It's not by size, oh.
We don't do anything by size.
Please, but
the only problem Nigerian is having that our leaders are not. The problem is that our leaders do not even. They don't love us. The indigenous is just. That is why. Let me tell you something. In my shop here, one day a South African man came inside and I was asking what kind of business is he doing in Nigeria. Do you know what he told me? That he's importing arms. I was in my cash point, it was as if I should come out and I should start fighting.
And you didn't call police?
Tell me in Nigeria, yeah, that he is importing arms.
Why didn't you call the police?
That is his work. That is because he had the mind. If who is the Nigerian that will go that this state resources in? Even Americans, when you a country is big enough that when you wear your name outside, I mean, they look at it twice. So Cameroon. To show that we have lost impunity even outside the borders, even within the small countries. Our government should look into this. They want to start this issue that they can deport Nigerians. They want to tell us that we are nothing to them.
Okay.
Yeah, we are plenty here. We can do the same thing to them. They should hear us. We are plenty.
Well, thank you so much, Miracle. But I think in this submission, Barrister or one of you should come in.
No, you see, when people talk about Cameroon, there's something that I just remembered now. Even within Cameroon itself, there's a problem. Because, the other time they shut internet of one part of the country because they speak English and all of that.
That's the Anglophone part of the country.
So you can imagine the kind of, even what they are doing to themselves, not to talk of an outsider. So I think, for me, we as a people, we need to wake up to our responsibilities and take what is ours. Let us look for a way of bringing our own back home. If Nigeria is good, nobody will want to go out. So we need to, do something that will make us much more homely to ourselves.
The point should be made that Nigerians are not in Cameroon seeking for greener pasture. War pushed them to Cameroon. So one of the callers made mention that we should put our house in order. Yes, we definitely put our house in order. Natural disaster, war is like natural disaster. You don't see it coming, and here it is, and people must run even to the enemy camp if you need safety.
Okay. Hello.
morning.
Good morning. You're our last caller on the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Austin. I'm calling from the King.
Go ahead, Austin.
When we talk about the South African people deporting Nigerians, I think we don't blame South African because most of the countries, if you see Nigerians, you see how they look at Nigerians because of what?
Not South Africa.
Sorry?
I think he's trying to say Cameroon.
And unfortunately I mistakenly caught the call. I was trying to increase the volume from the phone. I apologize for that. I totally apologize for that. Okay, I think he might be the one calling us back. Hello? Please put up your radio set.
This is Mama from Eritrea.
Very quickly, please.
My contribution is that our government should find solution to this matter. Because number one, the problem is from our own Nigerians, our leaders. If they keep us together as one nation and they love us as their own children, I don't see the reason why we Nigerians will be going to Cameroon. Because I don't see what Cameroon can boast that they have, which Nigeria don't have. And so therefore, I want to plead with our leaders to let them love us more and appreciate us as their children so that our
Something is just wrong today. But we thank you for calling us. We'd like to take final comments from our panelists. Let's start with Harris Spice.
Yes, we must put our house in order. We must do things that will not lead to us leaving our countries in search of safety or protection from our neighbors. The bottom line is that peace, 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 peace. There's no substitute for peace.
Olive?
My parting shot to just be a re-echo of Gandhi's quote on humanity. I would say we must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is just like an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. And I think it really applies here. Let's be our brother's keeper, as the Holy Book tells us. Please.
And Idris.
For me, I think first and foremost, we are human. I will learn to treat each other humanly, and I think that's the way to go. And for our government, let us go back to the drawing board, redefine our foreign policies, and ensure that our citizens, whoever they are taken care of, because the government has a duty to promote, to protect, and to fulfill.
And for me, in an instance where a child does something wrong to his parents, sometimes he runs to his uncle and stays there. The uncle takes care of him, then gradually returns the child to the family. Cameroon should also, take a cue, and we advise that the Nigerian government should also take this seriously. But we'd like to thank you, most especially those who contributed on the show. For you, the listener out there, we appreciate your contribution and your listenership. And of course, remember, while others enjoy listenership, we enjoy followership. That's very important to us. Stay on to X-Ray tomorrow, Saturday, a very toned down version. We'll be talking about something interesting, and I hope that you will stay tuned in until then. It's Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I am Peter Kundum.